Your ignorance makes me ill and angry.
It's 1963. The world is on edge. Cold War paranoia, Kennedy in the White House, and TV sets glowing in living rooms across America. Into this black and white universe drops The Outer Limits, a sci-fi show that didn't just push buttons, it hijacked the control of your TV set and dared you to dream of the impossible. But behind the eerie voiceovers and mind-bending monsters lurked a bigger story. A battle between visionary creators and a network that just couldn't handle the signal. This is the untold tale of how The Outer Limits fought to survive and why it was doomed from the start. Buckle up because we're diving into the chaos, the meddling, and the mystery of what could have been. Fantasy, sci-fi, horror, rerun zone. The signal starts strong. In September 1963, The Outer Limits hit the airwaves on ABC. Created by Leslie Stevens and powered by the dark genius of Joseph Stefano, fresh off writing Hitchcock's Psycho. This wasn't your typical sci-fi fluff. Think Twilight Zone with sharper teeth and weirder vibes. Every episode had a bear, a monster, or alien that grabbed you by the throat. From the insect-faced Xanthi misfits to the glowing Bifrost alien. Stefano wanted to scare you, sure, but he also wanted to make you think. Episodes like The Architects of Fear, where a man transforms into a grotesque creature to fake an alien invasion, or The Sixth Finger with its evolved human, were bold, risky, and unlike anything else on television. Season 1 was a hit with critics and a growing cult of fans. The ratings weren't blockbuster, but they held steady on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m., a decent slot for a show about cosmic dread. The crew poured their souls into it. Hua Chang sculpted nightmare-inducing creatures out of clay and wire. Directors like Gerd Oswald framed every shot like a horror film, and Stefano wrote scripts that danced on the edge of 1960s morality. It was raw, experimental, and fearless. But here's the kicker. ABC just didn't get it, and that's where the static starts creeping in. A fatal time slot switch. Now let's fast forward to 1964. Season 1 wraps with 32 episodes of pure sci-fi gold, and ABC greenlights Season 2. But then, the suits at the network make a move that feels like sabotage. They yank The Outer Limits from its cozy Monday night slot and dump it on Saturday nights at 7:30 p.m. right up against the Jackie Gleason show. For those who don't know, Gleason was the king of variety TV, a larger-than-life comedian with a loyal army of viewers. The ratings tanked. Hard. Why would ABC do this? Here's where speculation kicks in. Some say it was pure incompetence, a scheduling blunder by execs who didn't really understand their own lineup. The Outer Limits just wasn't a safe bet. It wasn't Leave It to Beaver. It was unsettling, cerebral, and occasionally too freaky for sponsors who wanted happy families buying toothpaste, not pondering alien invasions. Maybe ABC saw a chance to quietly kneecap a show that didn't fit their cookie-cutter vision. Or maybe they just didn't care enough to fight for it. Either way, the time slot switch was the first crack in the signal. The network meddling intensifies. With Season 2 came a bigger blow. Joseph Stefano walked away. He'd clashed with ABC over budgets, creative control, and that brutal Saturday night slot. The network brought in Ben Brady, a producer with a different vibe. Less moody horror, more straightforward sci-fi. Out went the bears. In came stories about time travel and robots. Episodes like Harlan Ellison's Soldier and Demon with the Glass Hand were still great, but the magic felt diluted. Brady wasn't the bad guy, he was just following network orders. And those orders came from ABC execs who wanted The Outer Limits to be less weird, less expensive, and more palatable for middle America. Take The Invisibles, for example, a Season 1 gem about parasitic aliens latching onto spines. ABC freaked out over the gross out factor, forcing cuts to the creature shots. In Season 2, that kind of boundary pushing got rarer. One specific meddling moment, an unproduced Stefano script from late Season 1 about a sentient plant taking over a small town, titled something like The Green Death, the exact name's lost to time. It was pitched as a creeping, psychological chiller. ABC shot it down, calling it too bizarre and unmarketable. Imagine tendrils snaking through a diner, townsfolk turning into plant zombies. Sounds like a lost classic, right? But the network didn't want anything to do with it. They didn't want classics. They wanted safe bets. Another meddling tidbit. The Forms of Things Unknown, the Season 1 finale, was originally a pilot for Stefano's dream project, The Unknown. ABC rejected it as a series, so it got retrofitted with sci-fi tweaks. The execs even pushed for a clear ending, less ambiguity, more closure. Stefano held firm, but the compromise left a feeling like a half signal caught between two worlds. A conspiracy of comfort. So why did ABC keep meddling? Let's speculate a little here. First, there's the money angle. The Outer Limits wasn't cheap. Those handmade monsters and trippy effects ate up budgets. Sponsors like cigarette companies or car makers might have balked at footing the bill for a show that didn't guarantee mass appeal. Second, the 1960s TV landscape was conservative. The FCC was breathing down networks' necks, and anything too dark or subversive risked complaints, or worse, fines. The Outer Limits walked a tightrope, and ABC might have feared it would fall off. Then there's the control factor. Stefano and Stevens were mavericks, not yes-men. ABC execs, used to obedient producers, might have seen them as threats. By Season 2, with Brady in charge, the network had a tighter grip, fewer risks, and more predictability. It's almost like they wanted to tame the wild signal, not amplify it. And here's a wild theory. What if some execs secretly hated sci-fi? Maybe they saw The Outer Limits as a fluke hit they never believed in, itching to replace it with another game show or sitcom. By January 1965, after just 17 episodes of Season 2, ABC pulled the plug. 49 episodes total, a short run for a show with such a long shadow. The official line was low ratings, but the meddling and time slot fiasco tell a bigger story. The Outer Limits didn't die, it was smothered. Yet, like a signal bouncing through space, it found new life in syndication. Reruns in the 70s and 80s built a cult following, and the 1995 revival proved that its DNA still resonated with audiences. What if ABC hadn't interfered? Imagine a Season 3 with Stefano back, budgets intact, and a better time slot. Maybe that sentient plant episode blooms into a fan favorite. Maybe Harlan Ellison writes some more classics. Instead, we're left with a what could have been signal crackling with potential. There is nothing wrong with your television set, but there was something wrong with the network that couldn't handle it. The Outer Limits was a risk worth taking and a signal worth saving. Now, whether you agree or disagree, let me know what you thought of The Outer Limits in the comments below. And if you like classic TV, movies, and nostalgia, you're going to love it here at Rerun Zone. So make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way out. This is Rich from Rerun Zone, signing off.